everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube CKTV special, the Movie Zone special, the history of the Batman. And we've seen 3 parts to the special so far. The first part, as you all know, I covered the early years of the Batman, looked into the 60s TV series, went and talked about the short film tries in the 70s and 80s, and talked about the comic books. But then in part 2 I talked about the 1989 classic Batman movie by Tim Burton, and then in the third part I talked about Batman Returns, gave my opinions on that as well, and then I touched on the topic for today's show. The topic for this show, part 4 of the history of the Batman. And that now is Tim Burton's Batman 3. Well, Tim Burton's Batman 3 was planned for after Batman Returns. It was planned a continuation of the Batman story with Michael Keaton at the helm, of course, as the Bat, as Bruce Wayne and Batman, and with Tim Burton directing. He was asked to go back and do another film. They were in early production, and they pulled the plug on this particular try at Batman. There has been a few tries at Batman movies and they didn't come to be. This was the first and it wasn't the last. But I like the concept of it. I explained briefly the concept of it on the last part, but now I'm going to go more in depth and talk about Tim Burton's Batman 3. I think it was a very good concept. I thought it was very much, it had a lot of good representations in the film. We can tell you now just exactly what the representation was and what the storyline was, what characters were going to be used. I can tell you that the project was rumored to have been, this is what the script has been out there. People have read the script. There's been a lot of, I've seen reviews of it on the internet. And I've been studying the Batman franchise now this last few weeks, but I knew a lot about Batman before that. I've been a fan for years, but now I'm going more in depth into stuff that most people wouldn't really have looked at. A lot of people wouldn't really have looked at unless you're hardcore fans, and I would consider myself a hardcore Batman fan. I can tell you all that Tim Burton's Batman 3 was to be the events following on from Batman Returns. It would have had Bruce Wayne enlisting the assistance of a young orphan by the name of Robin, and that relates to the Dark Knight Rises. There, as you can tell, they're using the same idea in the Dark Knight and the Christopher Nolan's one there, the third one, the Dark Knight Rises. He's using Robin's help. I'm not sure now if he's going to take Robin out with him, but Marlon Wayans was signed on to play Robin in this particular film. And I hear he was signed on for Batman Returns as well, and he was actually paid for that, but he never actually made an appearance in the film. Also, we can tell you that the villain that they would have been trying to bring down in this particular film was the Riddler, who would have been played by Robin Williams, which would have been a great casting there. And Tim Burton had never done a movie previously with Robin Williams, and I'm sure their styles would have linked together well. Robin Williams, very, very good comedy character, but he could also, a very good comedy actor, but he could also go into that dark side as well, and he's really good at psychological parts. So it would have been very interesting to see him play the Riddler. But later on then, when Batman Forever was actually made, Jim Carrey done an unbeatable role as the Riddler. There was a lot of talk about Rene Russo coming in as Michael Keaton and Bruce Wayne, Batman's love interest in this particular film. Rene Russo was doing a lot of great stuff around that time with the Lethal Weapon movie. It looked like it could have had big potential on paper. I think Keaton just got kind of tired of the part, playing Batman, playing Michael Keaton, wearing the suit and all that. Tim Burton wanted to take leave of it because he had felt he had done what he could with the Batman franchise. A lot of the critics after Batman Returns felt that he went too dark, went very dark, and that kind of, it wasn't good for toy sales, it wasn't good for all these kind of things that really took over the Batman series later on down the line. It became very campy, very by the time they got to Batman and Robin, it wasn't exactly very brilliant, but it got great review. It got great, I think, good reviews, but it got great, brought in great money, done brilliant in the box office because of the young fans. And that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? It's about keeping every age group happy, and I suppose that was achieved over the course of them 4 films. Also in this film was to be Billy D. Williams, who was in the first film, Batman, as, of course, the district attorney, the DA, and he was then in the, it was to be in the second one, Batman Returns, but the storyline had it, and this is the way it was going to go in this particular film. Billy D. Williams was actually paid for Batman Returns, and that's another thing a lot of people don't know. Both Marlon Wayans, who was to play Robin, and Billy D. Williams to play Harvey Dent, were both paid for Batman Returns, but they didn't have to play a part. That was interesting, and I'm sure they would have loved to have played a part. Billy D. Williams was going to come back into this one, and that's when he would have made the changeover to play Two-Face. That was when he was going to become Harvey Two-Face. I'm very interested to see how you could do a film with Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer came back in as Catwoman, of course, as well, which was going to be interesting. I think they were going to do it that Catwoman was a love interest of Batman, and Rene Russo's character was going to be a love interest of Bruce Wayne. There was a whole conflict there, as well as them going after Two-Face, and as well as them going after the Riddler. And they were all going to be worked into this. I understand that there was going to be the way they were going to do it was with Billy D. Williams and, of course, Harvey Dent. They were going to have him, that we're going to make it that he was actually on vacation, or that he was actually on business in Metropolis. As I mentioned before, that would have been really cool because it's crossing over in script. They're crossing over the franchises, which they done more of in Joel Schumacher's films. They talked more about Metropolis and Superman, but it would have been actually pretty cool to have that mentioned in this particular reimagination of the film of Batman 3. It said that he was on business in Metropolis, and he was, the first part of the film would have been Michael Keaton, who plays Bruce Wayne, Billy D. Williams playing Harvey Two-Face, and Commissioner Gordon, of course, Pat Hingle playing him, and the 3 of them were going to be just back from they were going to be just coming back from Christopher Walken's character, Max Schreck, who was in Batman Returns. They were going to be just back from his funeral because, of course, at the end of that film, Catwoman killed Christopher Walken, or killed Max Schreck, who was played by Christopher Walken, and they were just back from his funeral. And then Max Schreck's son, Armand Schreck, I think his name was in the film, he was the one that would throw the acid on Billy D. Williams, on Harvey Dent's face, for Harvey Dent to become Two-Face. Very good, interesting way they worked the storyline. I understood the way it would end up would be Batman would kill Two-Face, kill Billy D. Williams, kill Harvey Dent, I should say, and the way they would do it would be that Catwoman would be in a fight at the end of it with the Riddler, and she would capture him, put him in prison. He was still going to survive this version. Marlon Wayans as Robin, I don't think he actually was going to leave the Batcave as part of it. It was just a kind of it would be like in the animated series where Robin, at the start of Robin's, when the small Tim Drake Robin started saying, "Can I come out with you tonight?" and Batman would just refuse and say, "No, not tonight," and stuff. But it really is good food for thought, and I think it would have been a great, very, very good installment into the Batman series. Some great stuff. Batman 3, Tim Burton's Batman 3. I think they just pulled the plug on Burton doing it. I think Warner Brothers, the studio, said to him just to maybe will not go there, and then he kind of persuaded him not to without actually saying, "We don't want you anymore." And Burton was happy to step down at this stage. I think he had washed his hands of it and became the producer ultimately for Batman Forever. That's really all we have on the film. Some great stuff. I would really have loved to see it made into a film. Very interesting. I would. Michael Cuff was going to be back as Alfred. Pat Hingle was going to be playing Commissioner Gordon again. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Marlon Wayans as Robin and Dick Grayson. Rene Russo as Dr. Chase Meridian. Of course, then it changed over to the Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Forever. And Billy D. Williams as Harry Two-Face. Robin Williams as the Riddler. And Michael Keaton as Batman and Bruce Wayne. It would have been brilliant, but what do you do? Hollywood's Hollywood. There's a lot of films that nearly get made and don't get made. But we're going to continue on with part 5 of this history of the Batman. And we're going to, in the next part, we're going to talk about Batman the Animated Series. That will be an interesting topic because I love that series. And that's up next. But for now, we're going to see you later, and it's Yoster over and out.